I want you to go back to Acts, but this time, instead of chapter 1, go to Acts chapter 4. Because I want to show you two individuals who could not remain silent about Jesus. And their names are Peter and John. And in Acts chapter 4, we find them in prison. What was their crime? Why were they in prison? Let me tell you why. Because they were telling people about Jesus. They were telling others about who Jesus was and telling others about what Jesus had done on the cross of Calvary for them. You know the story. You've read the book of Acts, and you know that Peter and John had to appear before the Sanhedrin, the Jewish religious leaders who, after hearing them, decided to let them go free under one condition. Here it is. Look at verse 18. Acts 4, verse 18. And they called them and commanded them not to speak at all, nor teach in the name of Jesus. Now notice the condition. We're going to let you go, but you have to be silent about Jesus. No more talking about Jesus. No more teaching about Jesus. No more preaching about Jesus. Don't you mention the name Jesus anymore. So what was Peter and John's response? Look at verse 19 and 20. But Peter and John answered and said unto them, whether it be right in the sight of God to hearken unto you more than unto God, judge ye. For we cannot but speak the things which we have seen and heard. Notice that Peter and John essentially say that they, and the Bible uses the word cannot, or they are unable to stop talking about Jesus. They say, we can't stop talking about Jesus. Now here's what's so ironic. They couldn't stop talking about Jesus, but today we can't get some Christians to start talking about Jesus. They couldn't stop talking about Jesus. They said, no, we can't do that. We're going to keep talking about Jesus. We're going to keep telling people what we've seen and what we've heard. In other words, they were going to keep sharing their testimony of what Christ had done in their lives. But the sad thing is today, and even right here at Canton Baptist Temple, there are many of our members, week after week goes by, and they have not shared Christ with anyone. Let's get real practical for a few minutes. Because if we're really going to get serious about going out into our community and sharing Jesus with lost people, there are several things that we need to commit ourselves to do. Here they are. You got a pen and paper? Here's the commitment today. Number one, I will commit to pray for opportunities to share Jesus with others. It all begins with prayer. I will pray for opportunities to share Jesus with others. This is so simple. I read that and I think that is so simple, and yet the vast majority of us never do it. When is the last time you prayed for an opportunity to share Jesus with somebody else? Do you remember what Jesus said? James. Let me tell you what James said. James said in the book of James, ye have not because ye what? Ask not. Now let's think of it this way. You don't often have the opportunity to share Jesus because you're not asking for the opportunity to share Jesus. What if we prayed a prayer like this? Dear Lord, please give me the opportunity today to share your Son, Jesus Christ, with someone who needs him. That's a pretty simple prayer, isn't it? Lord, please give me an opportunity today to share your Son, Jesus, with someone who needs him. Do you think that God would answer a prayer like that? Why would he not want to answer a prayer like that, right? I just wonder if we're just too wrapped up in our own world. We're too wrapped up in our own schedules and our plans and this and that. And we don't pray for opportunities to share Jesus with others. Number two, I will intentionally look for opportunities to share Jesus with others. Okay, number one, you're committing to pray for those opportunities. But number two, you're going to now intentionally look. You're committing to look for those opportunities. You'll be surprised because when you pray for opportunities, you will suddenly begin to see opportunities where you've never seen them before. That's just the way God works. It's like the old story, and some of you old-timers probably heard some preachers share this story years and years ago, but about a company that sent 2 shoe salesmen over into the bush of Africa. Out in the middle of nowhere, these 2 salesmen that sold shoes went way out into Africa. And it wasn't long before they got communication back from these 2 shoe salesmen. And the one shoe salesman wrote back and said, "I cannot sell shoes over here because no one wears shoes over here in the bush of Africa." All right? But then not long after that, another letter came in the mail from the other shoe salesman, and it had a totally different perspective. He wrote, "Send me all the shoes that you have in stock because no one wears shoes over here." 2 different perspectives. One said, "I can't sell shoes over here. Nobody wears shoes over here." The other guy says, "Nobody wears shoes over here. This is a great opportunity. Send me all the shoes you've got." Trust me. The opportunities are there. They're there. The problem is, most of the time, we're not praying for the opportunities, and consequently, we're not looking for the opportunities. You agree? That's probably where most of us find ourselves today. We're not praying for the opportunities to share Jesus with others. Consequently, we're not looking for the opportunities. If you pray for opportunities, then God will open your eyes to see those opportunities that, by the way, are all around us every day, every week.